Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Adventures in Truth livecast. My name is Jim Case. I am your host, and I'm excited to be here again with you to have an amazing conversation. Our adventure today is going to be a lot of fun. We have Shellie Enteen back, our master astrologer, talking about the next major event that's happening here coming up on December 4th, which is that solar eclipse in Sagittarius. So we are going to dive into that. Here, let me give you a little precursor here about what we're going to be looking at. So as we approach the end of the year, we encounter another deeply impactful astrological event, and that's the solar eclipse in Sag. And what is that focused on? So what are your beliefs about truth and about honesty and about integrity and uprightness? And how is our connection and alignment to our spiritual nature showing up in the world? You're going to want to look at where Sagittarius, the house that Sagittarius rules in your chart, in order to understand the environment this will be impacting for you. And Shelley's going to help us with that today. Really excited about that. So before we begin, we're going to jump out here for a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to bring Shellie in. So we'll see you on the other side. We'll be right back. All right, guys, can't talk enough about Fear is a Choice book. Check it out, www.fearisachoicebook.com. This book becomes more and more relevant as each day passes because this book is about changing your relationship with fear. And in our current environment, in the world in which we live currently, today, this minute, there are so many things that we are being bombarded with on a daily basis that truly we don't really have a way to deal with in the sense that we can step in and make a change to these major things that are going on. So what's happening is that is, again, stimulating fear. It's stimulating concern. It's stimulating upset. What this book is about changing your relationship with fear so that you begin to see that all this drama and nonsense that's going on is you do have an ability to impact it. And that's by not engaging the fear. You do have the ability to change it. And that's by changing your relationship with fear so that you are not in reaction to what's happening, but that you are centered in your experience, that you are deeply connected to yourself and to whatever it is that's bigger than you, your God, your universe, whatever it is. And that through that, you create powerful, positive change that helps to impact that movement going forward, particularly because you are changing that within your world. And when you change your relationship with fear, it changes everything, y'all. It's not a simple, or it is a simple fix, but it's not a simple solution. It is a complex solution that, because fear is sort of this dumbing down experience in my experience, it sort of limits our capacity. It limits our ability. When you change your relationship with fear, you open up to potential and opportunity that you didn't even know existed because you had so dumbed down your experience being so deeply connected to that fear consciousness. So let's shift out of that fear-based consciousness into an opportunity-based experience. Fear is a Choice book is what's going to help you get there. www.fearisachoicebook.com. Perfect time of year if you want to give it as a gift. Fearisachoicebook.com. You can get book links, you can get videos, you can get connection to me if you'd like, questions and answers, all that kind of good stuff. So check it out. Great book. Thank you very much for all of you out there who have purchased the book, who have reviewed the book. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the amazing feedback. We'll be right back. All right, y'all. My world is good. How's your world? Year of Conscious Creation. Can you believe we are at Thanksgiving? This started in January. My world is good, and it continues to get better, y'all. Why is that? Well, here it is, 7.5 billion worlds, unique worlds, inhabiting this gorgeous planet. And all of these worlds are creating their own realities. They're building their own things. And yes, we are co creating, and yes, we are interacting in that experience. But ultimately, this drive, this movement was about creating more goodness, not only in our personal world, but in the mass consciousness, to be able to create that shift and that tipping point in the consciousness where goodness becomes the prevalent and not a small slice of or a little slice of. So my world is good is how we build that energy within our own experiences, how we build that energy within our own consciousness. My world is good. It's focusing into it. It's feeling it. It's stimulating a ton of appreciation for what you have right now, regardless of what's there. Appreciate all of it. Find the goodness in all of it. Create that powerful shift by focusing into my world is good. Start it 10 times in the morning when you wake, use it again 10 times at the end of the day, and then you can use it throughout the day. If you find that your alignment is getting a little wonky, my world is good can help you realign that. It's simple, it's easy. Find something you can appreciate immediately. Stimulate that appreciation. Stimulate that love, that energy inside of you, and then feel it and then speak it. My world is good. My world is good. My world is good. My world is good. Even sitting here doing it now, shortly, I can feel the spin of my energy. I can feel the lift happening. That's what I want for you. Thank you to all of you who continue to be part of this movement. As you see these around all throughout social media and all over the place, share your stories. Tell us about your experiences of My World is Good, and continue to expand it, continue to grow it. I appreciate you all so much. We're going to take a quick break on the other side. Shellie's going to be joining us. We'll see you there. All right, we are back. Oh, how did I do that? Here I thought I changed my backdrop. Look at me. All right, let me do this real quick. Here we go. I have to save it for it to stay. All right, guys, I am excited. Shellie is back. I want to give her some due diligence because I think I haven't done that as well as I could each time. So, for those of you who have not met Shellie, amazing astrologer, amazing human being. Shellie is an ordained interfaith reverend who has been offering counseling with astrology and tarot for over 40 years. She combines evolutionary with traditional Western astrology to give you the clarity and validation you seek. Shellie has also been a holistic health practitioner for over 30 years and may include suggestions from Bach flower remedies and essential oils in her talks, online articles, podcasts, and readings. Shellie has been a popular speaker for the South Florida Astrological Association and the Asheville Friends of Astrology, and presented numerous talks and workshops on esoteric topics for unity churches and spiritual centers in the Carolinas and northern Georgia. She has published the aromatherapy. Has published in the Mountain Astrologer, and articles on aromatherapy have appeared in Massage Today magazine, the Aromatherapy Journal, published by NAHA, and online blogs. And you can find her daily astrology forecasts and live videos at ShellieEnteen.com. Her Astrological Weekly Forecast, podcast, and other articles are there as well. So check out her website for more information. I'm always thrilled and excited to have Shellie with us. Hi.
Hi there.
How are you?
That was a good, expansive Sagittarian experience.
I have to be congruent, I just have to be congruent.
Right. You gotta go with the program here.
Go with the energy.
Yeah. So is My World is Good. That's very Sagittarian, Jupiterian, and
interesting. I hadn't thought about it in those terms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited that we're going to get to have this conversation today. Our last gathering, we focused in on that powerful, amazing moon eclipse that I was blessed enough to. We drove back from Vegas that night, so we didn't get home until just about midnight, and it was perfect timing because I had to wind down, and I went, and I walked out my front door and went, wow. It was just spectacular. And thinking about it from the terms that it's been like 800 years since that particular thing happened, it was like, wow, I got to stand in front of that and bask in that. And you know, one side you kind of go, yeah, okay. Another side you're just like, wow, I got to experience that. What a cool thing.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
so what kind of excitement do we have coming at us now?
Well, we have our last dip, our last Sagittarian dip, because by the middle of January, the true node where the eclipses take place will be in South Node Scorpio and North Node,
Oh,
yeah. So, you know, we're going to have a lot of challenges in terms of feelings once we get into the South Node in Scorpio. But we have had, I think, a huge challenge with dealing with how we think, Gemini, and what we believe, Sagittarius. I mean, I think that's been a major theme. We
yeah,
can all have seen this whole idea of faux news and the division of what's true and what's not true and blah, blah.
yeah.
And maybe we have already altered some of our own beliefs and seen where we are just adhering to something which we don't really think about. You know, like we're just going along with the crowd, and now we want to maybe look at something differently. And this eclipse is the last one for a number of years that will give you the power of that change. As you were talking about, the
Hmm.
change of your belief, which will affect your outer world. With a solar eclipse, we're looking at change in your outer world life experience. And as you
So
said, where it
can I?
took place, let me just, the
Yeah, go
sentence
ahead. Go ahead. Go
you
ahead.
said, where it takes place in the chart, which is what you mentioned also, is the area where you're likely to see that change manifesting.
Okay. So the thought that came to mind was this. So I talk a lot about perception is the reflection of our interior world reflected back to us. So perception is my beliefs, my thoughts, my ideas, my concepts, all blasting out into the world because that's what I do with them. I put them out into my field, and my environment reflects it back to me so that I can
Mhm.
see how I am in that. Is this serving me? Is this energy useful? How does it feel? Is it doing, you know, am I in alignment? Do I feel good? Do I feel bad? How do I feel? So in that context, this seems like a very incredibly powerful time. And how do you feel about
Has
that
been.
perspective?
Well, I think that that is a truth. What you said is true. And even unconscious beliefs, which is a real
No, well,
area
those are the biggest challenges.
that we think, you know, we think we're directing our life. A lot of the times we are attracting things because of what we believe.
Absolutely.
And then we're also following things of attraction that are taking us to positive areas where we would not have imagined where that road would go.
Hmm.
See, and that's very Sagittarius, because Sagittarius deals with the long distance journeys to other countries, other cultures, other, you know, the Gemini, which was our North Node position, was to get all the facts and deal with our close environment, you know,
Okay.
categorize everything, write it down, talk to people about it. But the Sagittarian energies in the South Node issue was to get free of the restrictive beliefs so that you can expand. And how you were going to do that was look for more information.
Yes. Good. Good.
And
That's a great launching. No, go
doesn't
ahead.
that sound familiar
It
somehow?
does. So we're going to dive into that Sagittarian influence here on the other side of the break. I want to take a minute to do a moment to focus.
Okay.
This would be a great point to take that break so that we can really focus into the Sagittarian energy after we come through that. Um, so we're going to take. Oops, where did I put it? There it is. I wish that I could. I really have to get new glasses. I have to. I bought a whole bunch of glasses because they said they were non-reflective, and that wasn't true. They were blue blockers, but they weren't non-reflective. Anyway, I digress.
I know.
Right?
No, I mean, I know about the
The
glasses.
glasses. No, I got you. All right, Miss Shellie, I'll see you on the other side. We'll be back in just a few. Okay.
Okay.
All right, you all. Let's take a moment to focus. This is one of my favorite parts of the show, and to me, where the rubber meets the road. I talk about this a lot. What is your daily practice? What are you doing? How are you bringing your energy into alignment? And I love to do this because I really firmly believe that the construct of where two or more are gathered. And so I like to take this time to kind of harness all of our focus and all of our energy together so that as we move through this, and as Shellie and I unfold all of the levels of this process of this eclipse and these energies and these influences, that we are answering your questions, even if you're not able to give them to us. But we are being able to connect energetically and really expand this topic in a way that is as satisfying and impactful as it can be for all of you out there that are participating and listening and being a part of this. So we begin with an inhale through the nose and exhale from the mouth, and we'll continue in that pattern through this entire experience, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you do, with each successive breath, feel the release taking place wherever you are, whether you're sitting or standing, laying down, whatever. Just feel the release through your body as you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Each successive breath bringing you more fully present to this moment, being you more fully present into the sound of my voice as you close your eyes and begin to navigate your interior space. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And focusing all of your awareness into the center of your chest, into the heart space, into the center of the breath as you continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feeling that focus deepen as you continue to breathe, feeling the expansion as you continue to focus into that magnificent space within the center of your being. And as you focus there, continuing to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, become aware of the field that surrounds you. Become aware of the energy that emanates from you. Simply be informed by it. Let it inform you that you can see it or feel it. Maybe you can sense it. However it shows up for you, it's okay. Maybe it's in images. But whatever that is, just become aware of all that you are, the magnificence of all that you are. And that in that context, as you rest into that space, there are all kinds of influences that come through that help us to better understand who we are, that help us to become more of who we are. And as we step into this particular time frame, as we step into this particular window of opportunity with this eclipse, let's relax around what's happening and let's open to the influences in a way that allows us to integrate them, in a way that allows us to move easily and naturally through the process, because we are allowing the organic internal mechanisms to guide our path. And in that space of surrender, in that space of openness, we can simply let this influence create the freedom we seek, that we can allow this influence to stimulate that freedom as we surrender and as we release those things that don't serve as we move forward. And as we integrate those things that help us more fully understand who we are. As you continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And now focusing intently into that space, I want you to pull your field. I want you to bring all of your awareness into your heart. I want you to consciously call your energy and feel it as you pull it in, as you bring it into the center of your heart space. Feel that intensity build. Feel the tingling and the warmth. Feel the buzz. However that experience feels for you in 360 degrees, feel the magnificence of all of that energy of you. And now I want you to breathe in a regulated pattern, because breath is the foundation of life. Breath is chi, it's prana. It is the core energy that animates all that we are. And when we know how to manage breath, we know how to manage energy. We know how to connect and understand energy in a much more powerful way. So as you breathe, you're going to breathe into a count of 4. You're going to fill completely with all of this magnificent energy. You're filling it with life force. And then you're going to hold in that space of fullness for a moment and just relish that feeling. And then you're going to consciously breathe it all out. You're going to let it go through the mouth, exhaling to a count of 6 to purge all of the energy and air out of your system to prepare for the next moment of new energy and air. And as you get to the base of that breath, you're going to rest in the void. Rest in that anticipatory space, that space of allowing. that space of anticipation. And then you re-engage the lungs as you breathe and inhale to a count of 4. And so as you continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, come into this rhythm with me. As you continue to focus intently into the center of your heart, into the center of your energy, as you now consciously call on energy, the life force to breathe into your body as you inhale, 2, 3, 4, feel that expansion, feel that rich fullness, relax the shoulders and the neck. Feel it and now consciously release it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful. And now rest in that completely empty space, in that space of not know, in that space of anticipation, because you are creating the next moment as you inhale. 2, 3, 4, feel that fullness again. Feel all of that energy coursing through every particle of your being. And now surrender it as it takes with it all of the old energy to prepare for the new. As you surrender 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now rest in that void for just a moment. Relax into it. Let the shoulders relax. Let the body relax. Just be in the space of empty for just this moment in anticipation as you engage the lungs and inhale. 2, 3, 4. What an amazing feeling of richness and fullness. What an amazing feeling of aliveness. And then surrender it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continuing to feel the connection to that energy and that aliveness. In anticipation as you engage the lungs once again, inhaling. 2, 3, 4. Fantastic. Feel it. Be with it. Let yourself relax into it. And now surrender it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful. Rest in that void space. I'm going to ask you to continue this cycle on your own. Go ahead and inhale. And as you do, continue to focus deeply into the center of your heart. Continue to feel that expansion and that desire for the freedom, and that freedom that comes when you surrender. And so there you are in your fullness, in all of it, wrapped in this wonderful energy. And now you're going to surrender it all, because you know you can create in every moment. And you surrender it and let it all go, because the new moment is even better than the old moment, because you are moving forward, because you are expanding. Allow the influences that come to you to help inform you and expand and grow you. As you continue to breathe, feel the depth of that feeling. And take in these words, let them wash over you. I am the evolution of God realized as matter. I inform and guide that expression as the pure expression of God in the universe. I show up as God. I connect as God. I align as God. I am creation realized. And from that, I create, I expand, I engage. I am. Feel that power. Feel that core of strength. Feel that core of all possibility. And as you continue to breathe, gently begin to bring yourself back into the space, back into the show where we are, as we continue to carry on about the powerful influence that is coming into our world that can help us in ways that maybe we don't quite understand yet. And that's hopefully what we're going to uncover today. And I'm going to bring Shellie back in, and we are going to dive right into that Sagittarian influence. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's a nice trip.
Yeah, it felt good today. It really felt good today.
Enjoyed it.
So before we went on that little adventure, we were just diving into the Sagittarian influence, and so I really wanted to focus into that so people can really grasp what is this energy that's being presented, and how can I just surrender to that? How can I open to that in a way that will allow me to get the most benefit from it? You
Well,
don't have to go all the way there yet.
right. I was just going to say a step on the way.
Yeah, a step on the way is a good
A
start. Yeah.
step on the way could be what we talked about last time, is how do I get the benefits from this? And one of the ways you can do that now is to, first of all, take a look at what that lunar eclipse has done for your feelings about things, because the feelings
Mm.
about things also go into what you're now going to be believing about life.
What do you mean that these things are not in a vacuum? You mean they don't happen?
Absolutely not. It's a phenomena that everything is connected.
Oh
And
my goodness!
there's cycles, they connect, you know? So you've been through that. And I would imagine that many of you have already seen some kind of shifting going around there.
Mhm.
So that is the kinds of thing that will start to be manifesting in what you're believing and you're perceiving, and where you feel like you want to go. We're coming into a new year with a solar eclipse at the end, which is saying, okay, this is the time. You know, take a look, sit down and look at yourself. Nobody else can look at you the way you can, like,
Right.
where am I expanding? Where did I used to expand last year? Where have my beliefs shifted over the year? There's been so much coming at me. I mean, all these beliefs about everything. Where am I choosing to go forward? How am I choosing to go forward? And like you speak about the issue of fear, and Sagittarius is the sign of truth. And because it's the sign of truth, it's the sign of the natural laws, which we just spoke about,
Mhm.
cycles that are connected. Those are the natural laws of man. We have the book laws that we can see manipulated and changing, and that's something we
Mhm.
should really be aware of. There's a difference, a big difference. So where do I come now from? Where do I come from in terms of truth? you know because people seem to think that they're not being manipulated. If I'm over here, I'm not being manipulated. Oh,
Yeah.
you guys are being manipulated. And it's like I just, my mouth drops open, and I wonder, humans are easily engaged.
Yeah.
But when
And
you
it's
start doing things like this breath practice, and you start going into this self where you can reach truth, you can.
yeah.
And I think this is the time, this last hit of the Sagittarius energy is there for you to take a look at it and make a conscious choice instead
So
of
yes,
rolling along.
and that's a beautiful and what a powerful thing, to come through this lunar eclipse that we just went through. I
Mhm.
find it fascinating and kind of absolutely. I want to find the right word because some stuff like this sort of just kind of it's one of those kind of moments, where here the moon eclipse comes along and stimulates the personality, gets all of the personality crap all up so you can see it, so you can see what's going on, or enhances it, and then here along comes the sun, the soul stepping in and saying, okay, now we've got you stimulated. Let's see how you're going to change how are you going to change in the context of this now. And um, I'm thinking in terms of the things that that have been come up in my own experience, and it's just that perspective has given me a little bit more of a window into this thing that I've been sort of wrestling with for quite a little while here.
Mhm.
And I went, oh, okay. I've been struggling with it from not understanding why it's still here. Like,
Mhm.
why is this still here? Why is this still on me like flies on crap? What is the deal here? And nothing I can do changes it. I do everything. I mean, I'm not, I should, that's not fair. Everything I do in my practice, whatever I do to shift,
Mhm.
always shifts it, but it comes right back. And I keep going, what is the deal here? And I just realized that part of the deal is the perspective that I'm viewing it from
Right.
is causing me to see it in a way that may not be appropriate to what I'm actually needing to see. So
Right.
that means I just need to sit back a minute again and go, okay, I've apparently latched on because I thought I had surrendered. I thought I had let this go, and it's still percolating up and it's still showing up, and I'm like, okay, I've run out of my arsenal now. I've done all that I can
Well,
do
that's
other than continue to surrender. I don't know what to do. But that's why this conversation is so powerful, because
yeah. Well,
we just keep
emptiness
going.
is and chaos precedes creation.
Great change. Yep. And that's what we're.
So it's good to just be able to observe. And this is another thing about Sagittarius is the overview observation as
Yes.
opposed to the pieces of Gemini. So, when we can see the forest instead of just the trees, then we can sort of say, oh, I mean, I think everybody experiences
Hmm.
that return to an issue. And yet we don't ever return to it exactly the same way.
Right.
We have some experience and some other things to understand. But again, the cycles have a lot to do with it. And this Sagittarius eclipse may be just the thing you need
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
to sit and ponder. Don't just, we've got a photo of where you can observe this eclipse. And you may want to, if you can bring that up, can you bring that one
Yes,
up?
I
It's a
can.
map. Yeah. So, as people who've listened to me a lot know, I am very happy never to be under the shadow of an eclipse. And here we see that very little is actually going to be under the shadows that are at the bottom of that map.
Hmm.
We're really looking at like a South Pole experience, which doesn't mean there isn't going to be something that affects us eventually. That is a change in the South Pole because, as we know, we're looking at melting ice, etc.
Hmm.
So this bottom tip of Africa is seeing some of it, but we don't have to worry about running out and looking in the sky for an astronomical event. We can look inside for a life-changing event for ourselves. And I
Hmm.
think, there is a photo of what the eclipse looks like. And a solar eclipse, as we know, that shadow is a shadow of the moon that
Hmm.
has gotten to a certain alignment with Earth and the sun and its orbit that it was able to do this. And that's how it comes about. I mean, every new moon gives us opportunities to seed a new direction for the lunar cycle.
Hmm.
Every single one of them does that. But
Right
when
on.
we have an eclipse energy come in, it's a much more emphatic and it has a 6-month orb of influence. So we're able to really use those and deep thoughts that we want to project out for our good, and not just for our good, but Sagittarius is a sign of goodwill.
Mm.
So we have, this Jupiterian generosity, and sometimes we get this overdoing, overexpanding with that.
Yeah.
We come into a holiday where we're giving thanks, but a lot of people don't bother with that part of it anymore. They're focused on whether their football team is going to win and getting to this store
Yes.
to
Yes. Yes.
buy more
Yes.
stuff. So this is an influence that has been pervasive in our culture, only since the Victorian era, by the way. A
Mm.
Christmas Carol was written about this shift where this started happening, people buying gifts and stuff. This didn't go back into the mists of
No.
time.
Right. That's an important, and it's part of the illusion. It's part of the.
Yes.
I think
The
that I was thinking
manipulation.
about this. Yes, I was thinking about this earlier too. That the
Yes.
big difference now is you had mentioned earlier about everybody sort of following along whichever direction, or they're on one side or the other. The point is that we are on neither side, and the point is that our answers exist somewhere in the middle, somewhere other than where we're currently looking. And
Hmm.
and I think that speaks to this, is that
It does.
the opportunity is here. The opportunity is not out there. The opportunity is here. And the freedom that you seek is here It's not
Yes.
out here.
Right.
And when I say here, I'm saying inside of us, inside of me, inside of you. And that's a universal kind of experience, but we all come at it from different perspectives, which is the brilliance of this whole human experience.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say how you're going to process this because
Right.
I don't know where your lack of freedom lie. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know where your restriction lie. So the whole point of this conversation is for us, to share these perspectives, and then you guys go out into your own world, and as Shellie said, get quiet, get centered, get settled for a second, and just feel your way into the experience and become the observer of your experience for a little while, and let yourself be informed by that, which is a
Mm-hmm.
whole other way of looking at life than to be at the effect of. And that's what I think both of us desire strongly in doing these shows, is that we
Yes.
stop being at the effect of, that we step into an alignment with that,
Yes.
a
Exactly.
whole different experience. Shellie, we're going to take a quick break. I want to dive into the whole impact on the environment, and but we'll be back right after this. So
Okay.
bear with us. I'm going to be pushing buttons again.
The Science of Transformation method. And I can't tell you the difference that it's made in my life.
This program is all about you coming into the greatest form of you. Guys, if you're ready to change your relationship with fear, if you're ready to step into these things that Shellie and I are talking about in a way that is completely transformative, because it's happening through you, and that's what the science of transformation is all about. It's about the experience of activating your energy and having the change come through you so that you step into a new normal that doesn't that is all about the expansion of who you are, and is all about stepping into the greatest parts of who you are. The Science of Transformation is a powerful program. I encourage you to consider, head over to the website, check out the testimonials, check out the information about the program. I do a free consultation to see if this work is right for you, and I also do an introductory package so that you get a chance to experience the sessions in succession to see if this work will help you to transform the experience that you're looking for. So www.thesciencetransformation.com. Check it out. We're going to bring Shellie back in, and Shellie, I'm going to give you a couple minutes here to talk to the crew. Last time you were here, you had a wonderful offer. I don't know what you're doing today, but I'm going to give you the show. Give you the show for a few minutes here to tell them about all the good things that you do. Are
Yeah.
you ready to go?
Okay.
I know your favorite part of the show, right?
I better be.
Here we go. All right, we'll see you in a sec.
Well, yes, it's almost the end of a year, as we know. We're very close. It'll be here before you even can blink, I think. It's how things are happening lately. So there's a lot of change ahead. We'll probably talk about the changes on one of the shows coming up, but it's important for us to also be able to see what those cycles and those changes look like for us as individuals. We have a lot of things that will affect the outer world, definitely, but what's it going to do for you? So that's where you get to have your individual reading of your birth chart and see the year ahead. So you can find out the better times for you and the times that you need to rise to a challenge. And when I do readings, I let you know how to rise to a challenge. I don't just leave you in it, so to speak, where you have to use fear as a choice to get yourself out of the fear of it. You can be empowered by an astrological reading. That's my goal for you. And so that should be something you can find and even order online at my website, which is being shown to you right there. There's an astrology readings page where you can read about how I do these natal chart readings. And then today I would offer you $10 off my usual fee if you email me through the website, which you can do at the contact page, and let me know that you saw me speak on this show, or you can do it right there at this email address, and that you'd like me to send you an invoice with that deal of $10 off my usual fee for you. But I think that this is a really important time. Again, we have a big shift in our evolutionary direction. We are going to start the year with a Venus retrograde. We're going to have Jupiter change signs. It's a lot of shifting. Actually, it changes twice. In next year, it goes from Pisces to Aries. So we have a lot to look at. And Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, the eclipse that's come in. And we may want to look at where this eclipse was in your birth chart, also where the eclipses that are coming, the 4 that we're going to have in 2022. In April and May, we get the first 2, and October and November, the second 2 for the year. Very important for you to be conscious of these things so that you are consciously choosing. And other than that,
Love it. Love it. That was great. Great. Hey, ShellieEnteen.com. Make sure you check it out. This is a really great offer. Shellie is amazing at what she does.
Thank you.
And I've had the pleasure of having that experience with her. The thing that I will tell you, and I think we talked about this in her bio, the thing that's extraordinary to me that I hadn't really thought about until we had that experience was how incredibly validating it is.
Mm-hmm.
When someone does your natal chart and then you add the layers in of your progress chart or whatever you do, if you're looking at Jupiter or whatever. But
Right.
the thing that it does is it validates all that you've been experiencing, because what happens is this Shellie doesn't know you from anyone.
Right.
And she's able to outline things that have occurred in your life
Mm-hmm.
because of the things that have unfolded with your chart. And it's extraordinary to sit there and to read through and to be like, oh, yeah. That's kind of how the experience was for me, where I kind of kept going, dot connect. And suddenly there's a rhythm and a pattern to your life experience that validates your entire being. It's really kind of an extraordinary thing. So check her out, ShellieEnteen.com. Amazing stuff.
That's one of the things is astrology is ruled by Aquarius and Uranus. So you're getting that inspired mind. And then Sagittarius, the sign of truth and beliefs, really helps you deal with those.
Yeah.
About your chart and everything.
Good stuff.
So yes, so
let's dive into, let's carry on this conversation. We have about a little over 10 minutes to go here.
Well,
so go ahead.
Can we look at the chart of a person and give an example? Because I picked out somebody. It was quite amazing because I said, gee, I want to find somebody who has something near 12 degrees of Sagittarius. That's where the eclipse is taking place on the 4th of December for everything but the West Coast, which is right at the end of Friday night. So it's early morning. It's like 2:44 a.m. in the Eastern Standard Time. So I was curious, and it just so happened that I had been looking for the chart of Ghislaine. Is that how they say her name? Maxwell.
I think so.
And if you don't know who she is, I'm surprised because you haven't been looking at any media for the last few years. This is the woman who was working with Jeffrey Epstein in an interesting business. The business of providing strange sexual experiences for people and then blackmailing them.
Yes.
So when you're an astrologer, you're looking at a lot of things, and that job is actually very easily seen. This sixth house here, this number 6 is where what I do for work, how I serve the world. And we have Neptune of, sort of mysterious stuff in Scorpio of sex, So it's kind of fascinating. We can see that. But what I was looking for, and I said, oh, let me just see. Maybe her chart has something going on with the eclipse because her trial is finally starting. Mm-hmm. They're picking jury members and everything. And she's going to be, and people are going to be testifying about all the famous people who are involved, including royal people.
Right.
So look at this. 10 degrees Gemini rising at birth, 10 degrees Sagittarius on the house that deals with legal issues, open enemies, and definitely this 12th degree eclipse right there is going to make a major shift and impact in her outer world.
So she's her Jupiter is sitting where?
Not her Jupiter, the eclipse. The eclipse at 12 degrees of Sagittarius is in the house, the 7th house.
7th house, okay.
The first house is ourself and how we're expressing ourselves into the world.
Right.
But the 7th house is the house of the others. It could be a marriage or any kinds of contract or partnership, but it's also the laws of men. This is where you go to court. This is where you have a lawyer who's representing you, but she's getting a solar eclipse there. And we mentioned that the solar eclipse is a major change in the outer world life circumstance. So I thought she was a really great example of this because it took till this eclipse for this trial to happen. You notice, see? The timing of events is something that we can see astrologically. Yep. Like, why is it taking so long? How come she hasn't already had her trial? Well, because this is when it was going to happen. This is the destiny line of life that we also see.
Wow.
And her eclipse has 2 aspects that you could see, or 3 aspects you can see right off the bat if you're imagining 12 instead of 10 here. It is going to make a square to, this is a challenge aspect to her Pluto in the 4th house in Virgo. So this is going to have an effect on her home where she's living. Okay. It will affect her family in some way that is challenging. Okay.
Yeah.
And yet she has a sextile to her own Jupiter in the 10th house and a trine to her moon in Leo. So this means that we can't really say that she's going to have a guilty verdict that is going to be, totally devastating. Let's just put it that way. We can't see that with a trine to the moon and a sextile to Jupiter.
Is it also true, Shellie, because I just as for the listeners and watchers, that one of the magic things to me about astrology is that even with your harshest aspects, there are always doorways and gateways and support mechanisms built in somehow.
Yes.
And I find that absolutely fascinating, that there is another planet somewhere that's having an experience that can help you tremendously through whatever it is you're dealing with.
Well, that's one of the things that made me continue and love astrology so much, was because you could see that.
Yeah.
And if you did know, which is what you can know during a reading, you can see that it's going to be assisted by this other energy. And that makes you feel better about it, which is really a key. And so she's going to well, there's going to be, one of the things is there's going to be an expansion of media, Aquarius coverage with Jupiter involved. So that is another thing. And that is where the other people involved are going to be very unhappy, because a lot of things are going to get exposed now.
A lot of things.
A lot
Are
of
those,
things.
and I know we don't have to dive into this. This is purely curiosity for me. Am I looking at two grand crosses in her chart?
Okay, if I'm not
Or
looking at that right now, so
okay.
if you wanna
No.
tell me what you think is
I'm only
grand
looking
crossing.
I'm only looking at the red lines. I was looking at the crossing of the red lines, and it looked like
Oh,
there were two
yeah.
grand
Well,
crosses in her chart.
they're depending on things that, not necessarily would you be using Vesta and Ceres in it. And I have a lot of,
Oh, there's other stuff there. I got you.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is a dwarf planet. This is an asteroid. That's a centaur.
Yeah, so they're not as they're influential, but they're not as forward
They
as
may
some
not
of
they
those.
may not be as obviously out there, but the cross that you're seeing is a Jupiter opposite Moon square, her Neptune in Scorpio is, yes. And even though the solar eclipse is here being assisted by maybe the loyalty of her family, possibly Leos are loyal, and this is a female,
Fascinating.
and maybe some people, how everything is so divided now.
Yeah.
So there are some people that are going to be out there waving flags for her,
Oh yeah. Well,
for these other people that no, they weren't really involved, and that's all,
here comes the spin machine.
The spin machine will be operating in her favor at times, is what it says, but there will be an absolute change. Oh, there already has been, in a sense. There have been other eclipses in her seventh house. There was one in her seventh house last year that was higher and closer to her Venus, and that's why she was already involved in the legal process that was changing her.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
So this was good to see. This was good to see how this impacts your environment. You can see exactly in this chart where it's
and
the arena that you can pay attention to. And I know when we looked at mine originally, that there was the ninth house was my arena of influence. So that's the place that I can.
Right.
So wherever that is in your chart. But again, that's if you don't understand it or you're not sure, that's why you can reach out to Shellie at ShellieEnteen.com, because she can clarify all that for you.
Yeah.
So we've talked about environment. We've talked about the Sagittarian influence. Let's take this home, I guess, and let's talk about finding the clarity and alignment that you need or want to navigate this. We've talked about a lot of different things throughout this time. What's your thoughts about how? So you look at somebody's chart like Giselle's, and you see the powerful, and part of me wants to go, okay, freak out, because you see all these, these influences, and maybe you don't understand them, or maybe you're trying to learn about them. And the whole point is to bring clarity. The point is not to bring fear or to bring anxiety. It's to recognize that, when you look in the broad stroke, there's lots of detail, but remember, this is your life. Sit in it. You're already having these experiences. So it's important to recognize that this information brings clarity. But it should align with experiences that you're already having that maybe you haven't put together yet, or you don't understand the relationship of yet.
Right. But
it's not like it's going to, it's not, but I guess my point is, it's like,
it doesn't come
we
out
don't open the door and bam, you're going to get smacked upside the head.
It does not come out of the blue. And we had actually talked about that before the show about the lunar eclipse, that you're already feeling feelings.
Yes.
It's not new, and that you already have a sense of where this change or what must change. You already feel it. But if you spend some time looking and say, all right, this is how I'm feeling now. This is what I feel I must change to be more authentic, to be who I really am, to make things go in a better direction. And maybe that change is getting some work with Jim Case, doing some kind of transformation work.
Could be.
We can't always do it without help.
True.
Sometimes we need, I've had a lot of help from practitioners. And so, we can be honest about that. That can be a truth for you, like I've tried working with myself, and now I need someone to work with me who's able to look at the situation without the emotion about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, we are at the end of another amazing adventure. To wrap this up, you got a minute.
I have a minute to wrap it.
You could have a minute and a half if you want.
But
I wanted to give you a chance just so we could kind of focus this topic for as we close out to whatever your suggestions are about how to step into this as cleanly and as openly as possible.
Okay, so as cleanly and openly as possible is to be honest about what you're seeing and feeling. Even if you don't have to communicate it to other people, but be honest with yourself. And then make a conscious choice about how you like things to look. What would I rather see than this? How would I like to see more goodness in my already good world? And how can my goodness also impact beneficially for others? Jupiter is expansive, goodwill.
Yeah.
So you take it for yourself, and you also think about how this can be of benefit.
Love that. I'm a firm believer that the universe is always conspiring on my behalf and on your behalf and on your behalf and on your behalf. Mm-hmm. So anything that's occurring, if you're feeling resistance or frustration, it's coming from you. It's coming from the call is coming from inside the house, people. It is your choice how to engage it. And so if you believe and you know that everything is conspiring, then trust that even if it's uncomfortable, it's leading to something greater and better. Yes. Trust it, observe it, observe it, observe it, observe it. Why would he say that? Because as soon as you engage the story, you've gone into the illusion. You've gone into the drama. You are now no longer observing it. And when you're in it, you don't have the same ability to understand it or to see it for what it is. So give yourself that permission to observe it and just be in awareness of what's taking place, and then allow that inspiration to let you move your steps. And I think that's from my perspective, one of the ways that you can do is, and it, I think closely aligns with what you were just saying.
Yes.
Shellie, always an amazing time with you. Looking forward to our next adventure. I find these to be incredibly helpful and incredibly informative, because it gives us an opportunity to see these things and just to see how these influences impact us, and to know that there is information, there is ways to understand what's unfolding, and you may not get the answer you like, but you'll get the answer that will get you to the next best place, and that's what
exactly true.
So
that's
have
true.
an amazing holiday, you all. Great to see you all. Great to be here, Shellie. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend, and we'll be back again next time for another exciting Adventures in Truth. Take care of y'all. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Adventures in Truth Livecast. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you'd like to learn more about Jim's book, Fear is a Choice: Unraveling the Illusion of Our Separation from Love, check it out at www.fearisachoicebook.com. Also check out Moments of Truth, a new offering from Adventures in Truth. If you'd like to work with Jim, check out www.thesciencetransformation.com to book a session. Tune in live every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time and every Friday, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Or look for our new releases and podcasts every Monday. Until next time, be well, and we'll see you again on Adventures in Truth Livecast.